get so mad, there's no control
Ladies
in
and
me.
gentlemen,
My thoughts
just in
get
case
so
you
bad,
live
I'm
under a
like,
rock,
I might
you
grab
are
a bat,
looking
I
at
don't
the
know, my
youngest
rap,
and
my blood
fastest
boils
rising
over like,
star in
oh God, here
professional
goes. I
wrestling
lost all
today.
feeling from my head to my toes. You said some shit that I can't let go, so just stay tuned for the rest of the show. So have you ever felt betrayed? Switches how you see things, realize something needs change. Cause I know you got me fucked up, let me show you what's up. Cause enough is enough.
I'll take a face full of pavement just to make a statement. I know there's no turning back. Oh God, adrenaline wasted, so mad I can taste it. I know there's no turning back. I'll do what it takes, I ain't making mistakes like that. I'll play it on your face to make you go take it back. I'll lose my shit, I go crazy when I'm mad. And now you gon' wish you was just a fuck up real bad.
Be the villain! And I have no problem at all, because I couldn't care less if you like me or not. I'm here for success, and there's no one more successful than Grayson Waller.
Yeah! Let me talk to you! War game!
What is up, everyone? Welcome to the Heal the Ring podcast. I am the Don of the Watch on BX Sports Jedi Kev. It's been a while. We haven't done a Heal the Ring podcast, but I just wanted to come up, revamp it, re-energize, revigorate it, and what is going on. We're going to start off with SmackDown, the Friday night SmackDown edition of the Heal the Ring podcast. What a night. I know it's a little late. I know it's Monday, and we marinated the whole weekend, but I just had to give my thoughts on SmackDown to last Friday night. My goodness, the match between the Usos for the undisputed tag team champions against the New Day. What a match. This match had a little bit of everything. First of all, both of these tag teams, I know we've seen them various times in the ring, and you say, what can we get from this match again? Well, just when you thought that the stakes were not that important, kudos to the New Day and the Usos, Jimmy and Jay, they raised their bar. This was, of course, for the longest tag team bragging rights. You know, New Day was the longest tag team, and they had this match. There was a lot of implication on this match, and these guys deliver. My God, the match started off back and forth, high flying. You had a little bit of everything here. Jimmy and Jay from the hot tag for Xavier Woods. My goodness, the speed, the agility on these guys. Once you thought this match was, what can we see next? I'm speechless. I wish I could have great words to articulate how I felt, but Kingston was making, a couple efforts there off the top ropes. He was leaping with wasted arms of his opponent. The kick out from Xavier Woods from the double splash from the Usos. I mean, my goodness, right? Just when you thought Xavier Woods was going to get pinned, and he kicks out on that finish. We also saw Jay covering his ears, when people were chanting for Sami Zayn. Now, Sami Zayn wasn't available, and unfortunately, he had a passing in his family, and he might not even be at War Games either, not because of the passing of the family. I'll bring that news notes, but Kevin Owens in a house show made his return on Saturday night in Peoria, Illinois, and he got injured, knee injury. So Kevin Owens might be out of action for a couple of months now on a knee injury, and he was scheduled to be part of the War Games with the Usos, against the Usos, and joining Sheamus and Drew McIntyre, and that for the War Games matchup. And now Kevin Owens is out. So I don't know if they'll just leave Sami Zayn out and let him attend to the personal matters and grieving for Sami Zayn and his family. So I don't know where that goes there. So, or they're just, normally it's a 5-on-5 matchup. Maybe they'll just go with the strictly 4-on-4 bloodline. And of course, Brawling Brutes with Drew McIntyre. We shall see there. But after this match, back and forth, we saw some great hot tags, and we even hear Michael Cole give Big E props for his involvement in the New Days. And here's his story run. We also seen in the back, watching along in this match, Roman Reigns and Solo Sikoa along with Heyman, watching and checking him out and seeing how if his cousins will retain and make history. So that was another interesting aspect of it. And of course, with a wonderful finish, and another classic match that you could talk about it for weeks to go. You could watch it. I've watched the match 3 times already, and of course the Usos defeat the New as they retain their titles. They are now going to be the longest reigning WWE champions. So congratulations to Jimmy and Jay Uso. They are going to be in WWE history. Of course, they surpassed Demolition, now the New Day, and now it is the Usos. Kudos on Jimmy and Jay for being the longest tag team in history. So we also, after SmackDown returns, we have the start of the World Cup matches. Now, the first one that kicked off, we had for it was Mexico versus Japan. It was Shinsuke Nakamura taking on Legado Fantasma's own Santo Escobar in a match. Wow, you know, you'll see this tag team match that almost went 40 minutes and 40 minutes long, and they give you another filet mignon. And it's Santo Escobar and Nakamura. My God, those two could go. Now, those that are new to seeing who Santo Escobar is, he was phenomenally well known in the worlds of the NXT world. Phenomenal job. He was a cruiserweight champion. He was a leader of Legado Fantasma with Cruz del Toro and Joaquin Wild. They're there. You see them there. Those are his henchmen, along with Selena Vega. Selena Vega is new to him into the main roster. Normally is Elektra Lopez, but Elektra Lopez stood in NXT to run NXT herself and her storyline. But they added Selena Vega to that storyline. So, but all in all, Santo, that's who you get from. He's a high flyer who could wrestle. Santo Escobar is a second generation wrestler, and it showed that from phenomenal moves back and forth from Nakamura. His resume speaks for himself. The way he is a Japanese strong wrestler who is phenomenal in his own. Former champion, former world champion as well, and of course Nakamura wiped out the Toro and Wild at the ringside. So they're using that as distraction, classic heel move. And of course, you get Santo Escobar with the Phantom Driver. Was equally part as dangerous picture-in-picture from the top ropes, but you see him hit with that driver and gets the win. Santo Escobar moves on here, but it was a legit match to kick out this tournament. This tournament was phenomenal. This is to start off, the first match was totally phenomenal there. And of course to see Nakamura do business and allow Santo Escobar, it helps and it benefits Santo Escobar's match here, and just got called up and he moves on here. So I really enjoying and seeing this. Can't wait for matchup number 2 between these for the next round, and we'll break that down as we move along. But before we go on, we have a backstage promo with LA Knight. LA Knight joined by Megan Morin in a backstage interview, and it was interrupted by none other than Bray Wyatt. So we finally was asking who is going to be Bray Wyatt's first opponent, and who is he going to go after? And I'm surprised it was LA Knight. I actually like it because LA Knight is a hell of a promo cutter. He cuts a hell of a promo on the microphone skill. Bray Wyatt, confronts him, and of course typical LA Knight doesn't give a crap, and he wants to get that zinger. And you see the back of the TV where the Wyatt symbol comes on. It's like an alter ego, and when he hears that, Bray Wyatt just headbutts the living crap out of LA Knight. It shows that Unleashed is evil, and it looks like Bray Wyatt has an alter ego. I'm thinking, me personally, going on a limb, I'm thinking that Bray Wyatt is Uncle Howdy. I don't think it's a different person, although people say it might be so-and-so, and it might be a different person. It might be, Bo Dallas, others. I believe this is another persona of Bray Wyatt, another character. Like he's going to have like a multiple personalities with different personas. I'm just believing that persona triggers him, and maybe we might even see a Fiend, at a time. He might just be one of those wrestlers that just clicks. Certain music, certain vibes, certain matches, certain moves just might make him just click and turn into a different persona. That's just my opinion with Bray Wyatt. But it'll be interesting now. It looks like it's set for probably War Games. It's going to be LA Knight taking. It'll be interesting to see where that goes, where that feud goes into the War Games. Then we had a 6-pack challenge for the number one contenders in the ladies. And of course, you got Liv Morgan, Raquel Rodriguez, Zion Lee, Shanti, Sonya Deville, and Lacey Evans all in the match. Now, this typical match for number one contender, you had some ladies in and out of the ring. At the time, some ladies were feuding outside the ring. This was a back and forth. They were very, very entertaining match here. There was one part of the match that got a little chaotic. And I guess that's what Liv Morgan now. She likes that chaos. There was a spot where Raquel Rodriguez was going to do a slam on the table, and Liv Morgan came for the jump. Neither lady went through the table. It was kind of a botch, but both ladies, they was a total missed the table. I like kudos to Michael Cole, who pointed out and said, "Oh, Liv Morgan might have got the worst of that, although they missed the table, but she looked like she hit the corner of the table, which that's unforgiving." Instead of saying that was a botch, he actually played it off there. Kudos to him. He's a professional. He's one of the best. He's one of the best at it to call any of the wrestling shows, the SmackDown or Raw, or even a premium live events. That's why he's one of the best of all time when it comes to Michael Cole. And he just, went in it. It was so natural. And of course, that spot there, and it left Shanti all alone in the ring with Evans, and Shanti gets the victory and gets the pin. So Shanti is the number one contender, and she has the right to take on Ronda Rousey in Survivor Series War Games. And it'll be interesting because it looks like the WWE is giving, and Triple H is giving the Shanti that push. Shanti, very entertaining in NXT. If you have a chance to, if you have the Peacock Network, please watch some of the old NXT of Shanti. They got her tank back. So ever since, Triple H has taken over the creative, you see now that they bought the tank back. They're giving Shanti a push. She was the hostess along with Quincy Elliott on Halloween Havoc in NXT. So Shanti is getting over. They're giving her this push. Now it's up to her to sell. Now she's getting the push. It's up to her to sell, and to the fan base to endear and want to push a Shanti. So maybe there might be an upset or title range. Although we'll have that for a preview for War Games for Survivor Series, but we'll leave that for another video. But they will be the ones going at it. Kudos, all in all, if you like it or not, at least you're giving a different taste, a different competitor going at it. Shanti taking on Rousey. We've seen that match before, and I think this is going to be a different level. I think these ladies are going to bring it for some reason. In my opinion, I think they're going to bring it. They're going to have a good match in the Survivor Series, in my opinion. There. So after that, we go to they actually go on a commercial break, but before that, we get the second World Cup matchup between Braun Strowman and Jinder Mahal. And when they come back from the break, you see Jinder Mahal by the trophy. It's a World Cup trophy. He's trying to cut a minor promo, and Braun interrupts him. Now, this match here, not a lot to say. I'm one of the fan of Jinder Mahal. I'm one of those fans that I embraced Jinder Mahal when he was the WWE champion. It was something different. I was like, whoa, McMahon put the title on Mahal, and Jinder delivered. I thought he was a good world champion. Of course, here we know what it is. He's there for an not kind of an enhancement, but to get Braun over. Braun has on a momentum winning that victory against the big guy Omos in Crown Jewel. Now he's in this tournament representing USA, and we know we're going to have a winner and a loser. And of course, Braun Strowman makes it look easy. He goes in, he beats Jinder Mahal, and he's one leg closer to getting, the winner of this tournament. Not only you get the International Cup of SmackDown World Cup, but you have a right to a championship match against Gunther for the Intercontinental Champion. So I could see how they're trying to push Strowman. Right now, the competitors right now with against Gunther and Braun Strowman, that'd be an interesting matchup there. The power of Braun, the way Gunther's such a big persona with the way he fights, that's an interesting to see if they're going to um, pan out of that. That's a matchup to see, or even Santo Escobar versus Gunther. That's another matchup. You know, both guys NXT, the NXT UK NXT, and both guys know got Santo Escobar in the Cruiserweight Classic, former Cruiserweight champion, North American champion. That'd be phenomenal to see those two guys go at it. They'll bring it, but of course, there's more competitors because there's more brackets, and of course, we'll see how this tournament fares out. When they go into commercial break, you see Shanti. Shanti is backstage with Shauna Baszler, and of course, Shanti plays. Kind of teases Shanti about Rousey, and she's, of course, she's hyped. She won. She was gloating. I'm winning, and I'm going to come for Rousey. So then Baszler baits her and says she's right behind you. She turns around and boom, and then Shauna Baszler again puts another woman in a chokehold to sleep. She did. We saw that with Natalia. Now here with Shanti, it'll be interesting to see if Shauna Baszler starts interfering in these matches and help Rousey. We got the Ronda Rousey total heel turn, and that's what everyone wanted. I think personally she works better as a heel. I think Ronda Rousey as a heel works. Shauna Baszler as a heel works. Now, would it be Shauna Baszler going after Ronda Rousey for the title? Who knows? We know, but or personally, if I'm not saying Shotzi should be the women's champion, but if they were to take the script, the SmackDown World Champion off of Rousey, I wouldn't mind Baszler and Rousey as a tag team title run. Although Shauna Baszler was phenomenal in NXT, one of the second longest women to ever hold the NXT championship. She has a title range, legendary. But it just, for me, it hasn't kicked into another gear with Baszler in the WWE main roster yet. And Rousey, she was a bad woman in the NXT. I mean, in a UFC, excuse me. A phenomenal fighter. I was one who used to buy the pay-per-views to watch because she was electric. WWE, I wasn't feeling her with the baby face, with the Joan Jett introduction. I think she needs and I'm liking the heel repackaging. I like the Rowdy Ronda with the Piper. I get it. I like it as well, but she does not have the microphone skills of a Roddy Piper to be swift and quick but I like the heel turn. I like it. She is the baddest woman in the planet. Be a heel, and I think that fits her perfect. And that's why I'm liking that her being a heel along with Shauna Baszler. I personally would love them to be a tag team, and go after the women's tag titles. That adds another element because now they could safe work with each other. Their matches are not boring. That's what the internet, Twitter says. People find her matches boring. They didn't like her in Charlotte in WrestleMania. They didn't like her in Liv Morgan. It was clunky, and you can't blame the opponents because now you're the common denominator. And I think she's a good performer. She draws butts to the seats. People want to see Ronda Rousey wrestle. When you put her in a marquee, the venues sell. She is a draw, and I think with Baszler together will be phenomenal. I would love them to have like a Jimmy Hart. I'm not saying Jimmy Hart should return, but they need a manager like a Jimmy Hart causing havoc to unleash these ladies like a little pig squeak. And I know the perfect pig squeak is Robert Stone. Mr. Stone down in NXT. He's a pig squeak who gets under people's skin. He's a very thin man, a short man, will be perfect for the ladies. And he could be the microphone. He could be the mouthpiece. Let him be the mouthpiece. Rousey promos aren't so great. Let me ask you, when was the most memorable promo where she went back and forth? You can't recall. They're all a little bit not cringeworthy because she is very gifted. It's not up to WWE, that top level star of promo. Where there's nothing wrong with that. Not everyone can speak on the microphone and cut great promos. That's not her strength. But she draws. But she is what she is. She's a money getter. Money getter in an aspect is people pay to go see her. I want to see her wrestle. Yes, despite of anyone's saying that she's not some people say she's boring. I'm actually interested to see what she does and how it translates to the wrestling ring. Match after match, she's getting better. But for now, I think they need a mouthpiece. They need a mouthpiece. I would love them to bring up Mr. Stone from NXT and just let him be a mouthpiece for them. He's the perfect pipsqueak, the perfect weasel, and in the Bobby the Brain Heenan that time to get them going. Let them go up there. Let them manage a couple of people, and one of them, the ladies, will bring havoc. Personally, and just let them cut promos and on the mic and set them up, and we shall see. But I don't know if WWE will do that. I don't know if they, I don't know if Rousey will put that aside and allow a manager mouthpiece. Interesting. I think they wanted to do that with Paige before she left to out of the company to AEW, but Paige didn't seem like not much of a mouthpiece neither, though she could cut some good promos. But I think you need a guy like Mr. Stone personally. But we shall see where that is. So continue on here. Before that, we saw the promo after choking her out. We were scheduled for a match. B-Fab and from Hit Row was taking on Selena Vega. And before this match even starts, we get an interruption. We get the Viking Raiders come out. Eric and Ibar obliterated all 5 male stars. Vega escapes unscathed. B5 not so much. Sarah Logan has returned. Sarah Logan with her new look, part of the Viking Raiders, and she just walloped. And of course, what a reintroduction again for the Viking Raiders. And they're back again, and of course, they look menacing. They come out. Their introductions are always menacing. They look the part. They're big wrestlers. They're big, large men. To me, it's setting up a 6-person 3-way match going into War Games, unless if they find other competitors that they want to put 5-on-5. But it looks like it's going to be Hit Row taking on Legado Fantasma, taking on the Viking Raiders. In War Games, would love to see that in the cage. Let them go at it. I don't know. The question is that trying to find out if Survivor Series War Games is going to be all cage matches, or are we just going to have 2 War Game matches only? I heard 2 War Game matches first, but there's so much here, so much meat here on the bone on that we could have cage matches galore. So I would love to see more cage matches, or pretty much the whole vet War Game type of style matches. WWF has gotten a large roster, other than the women's match between the women's title for SmackDown is the only one that's a one-on-one so far here for now. Of course, we'll see how it breaks down here, what seeds they're planting for later down the road. So we see that there. Sarah Logan's back. Formerly known from the Riot Squad. We shall see how that turns out. Then we have the closing segments. Of course, you see Bloodline is going to address Roman Reigns has something to say. Before that, of course, the Universal Champion comes out with the Usos and Solo and the Wise Man. And of course, Roman Reigns was going to say a promo, was going to say that it's not easy being my cousin. And he was interrupted by the Brawling Brutes. Butch and Rich Holland comes out, interrupts us, and lets us know that Sheamus has returned. Sheamus has returned, and of course, they head out, and Drew McIntyre follows suits, and we get an all-out brawl. Now, of course, the WWE is setting up a War Games. Of course, they're setting up their pay-per-view, and they tease it, and later on, we got the word. It's going to be them in all 4 men. And it was supposed to be 5-on-5. Again, Kevin Owens injured in Peoria, Illinois, over a house show. His knee, he's out indefinitely. Don't know the severity of his injury. Of course, Sami Zayn was dealing with some family issues, but he was expected to come back unless if they bring in another person in part of the McIntyre group. It'll be interesting to see who they put in there. A wrestler, maybe a Matt Cass Moss gets into it with a Solo Sikoa backstage, and they'll put a Matt Cass and Sami Zayn. It'll be interesting because Matt Cass is not doing anything currently right now. That's not any feuds currently, but we shall see there. But of course, I love Paul Heyman. This is one thing I want to say about Paul Heyman, and Paul Heyman is the best. He is the GOAT. Now, Paul Heyman, Sheamus came out, and just like my podcast in the beginning of the program, my microphone kept cutting in and out. So Heyman immediately with the wise man that he is, totally burned Sheamus. Can't even get the microphone working. I love it because Paul Heyman, that's what he does. He is a classic heel. He is one of the most sharpest tongues when it cuts a promo, and that has helped so much Roman Reigns' gimmick, bringing him there to the Swise Man. Not only with Roman Reigns, but Brock Lesnar. Phenomenal job. Paul Heyman just being the mouthpiece. This is something I would like Rousey to have. That's why I go back to the Stone. I don't think Heyman will. He's busy with the world champion to have enough time to run a Rousey. They need that type of manager. Ladies and gentlemen, I love it when he talks. So this is Paul Heyman classic. The microphone, of course, you get the melee, you get the send off with SmackDown with all the competitors going at it. And of course, you're looking forward to seeing War Games. You're like, wow, War Games is going to be awesome. And that's just the SmackDown side. We haven't gotten Monday Night Raw. Monday Night Raw, we have some more build up for these Survivor Series War Games. But before we get to the Monday Night Raw results and speak, I just want to take a moment about this weekend. This weekend, I had the privilege. Thank you to Terrence, a good friend of ours from NXT, invited us to go to NXT Live in Orlando. And before all that, I just want to give a shout out to the TWC, the wrestling club out in Brooklyn. Phenomenal job. I made a sign for the wrestling club. I took it. We had front row seats, and we heckled, or in a nice way, not obnoxious or a vigilant way. We were bothering Grayson Waller, and we had an interaction with Grayson Waller back and forth. It's on our Twitter page, and I tagged the Mr. Victor, the teacher, the professor there for the wrestling club. And of course, we went out and represented the wrestling club with the T-shirts. I had a Braun Breaker shirt. I had a poster, and the wrestling club, and we got a reaction from Mr. Grayson Waller. Mr. Grayson Waller, let me tell you about Mr. Grayson Waller. That man, he is to be honest with you, I believe he is the number 2 best wrestling heel in the WWE. That says a lot because he is a microphone skills. He next to Paul Heyman, and that's a compliment. Grayson Waller could cut some promos immediately. Not only that, he could go in the ring. Young, talented wrestler. I don't know how long NXT is going to hold this kid down in the NXT level because he is main roster ready. And matter of fact, since January, he has been on fire with that LA Knight battle back and forth between Grayson Waller and LA Knight was phenomenal. They're matching Vengeance. In NXT Vengeance. Grayson Waller is a WWE star, not just an NXT star, a WWE star. He gets it. Everyone says The Miz. I'm sorry. I think Grayson Waller one-ups The Miz right now because The Miz right now is stocked down. I believe Miz already peaked his highest. Grayson Waller is just touching the surface. He's right there. You could say at an MJF level. MJF right now is one of the most hottest wrestlers out there with the microphone and the way but Grayson Waller does not need to use profanity, he insults, yes, but he's not that vulgar insults. At NXT, they don't use vulgarity, and Grayson Waller just zings, not just wrestlers, the crowd members. Oh my God, he was on fire on Saturday night. He mentioned how Grayson Waller sucks, and he says that's how you say, that's exactly how your parents say every time they put you to sleep and they close the door night. I mean, he comes up with these zingers. I mean, like sharp as a tongue. So we had a back and forth with the wrestling club. He says, oh yeah, he tried to grab my sign, and I was quick enough to pull my sign without, because Waller does that. He grabs the sign and he rips them. That's his signature. Grabs your sign, he grabs them and he tears them up. That's a Grayson Waller staple. He couldn't do it to my sign. I was too quick enough. I had to be quick enough, and we had a wrestling fan to wrestling heel exchange. Nothing vulgar, nothing where security needed to come, but it was a back and forth for the wrestling club, and it was fun. It was fun. That's what you're supposed to have in wrestling. It's not personal. It's part of the show. Thank you, Grayson Waller, for making me part of the program, part of the wrestling show there and also for the wrestling club. We got your back, wrestling club, as we mentioned there on the Twitter on the video. So let's go right to that NXT Live event. This was in Orlando, Florida, where I live, of course. And of course, it started off with the debut of Bellator's own Valerie Lorena. Valerie Lorena came out with Bronco Nima and Zion Quinn. They had a six mixed tag match, taking on Chase U, Andre Chase, Duke Hudson, and Thea Hale. Now the match, let me tell you, the match was phenomenal. All 6 competitors worked. I know WWE, and we see in AAA wrestling, a little bit in AEW and other the mixed tag. And I know WWE's did that more, but they don't emphasize too much. But this mixed tag, the way they're doing it now, the modern times, it looks so clean. It worked. I like Zion Quinn here. This is the second time Zion Quinn has been with Bronco Nima and his partner. If you watch Level Up on Friday, they all wrestled in a 6-man tag, and there was another phenomenal match there. If you check it out, it was an Ife and Nofe, Odyssey, and Malik. They wrestled on Level Up. Saturday they wrestled here. This match was so good, back and forth. Duke Hudson, I like his angle with Chase U. If those that watch the NXT, I like him infiltrating him there as a weasel and he's trying to. I can see it that he's going to turn on Chase U some way somehow. I like that, but he was there helping out Mr. Chase. Thea Hale, ball of energy, no matter what. Even on the house show, she looked like she takes a bowl of cereal with a lot of sugar, either Frosted Flakes or Fruity Pebbles, and instead of milk, she eats it with a Red Bull. And because she's a ball of energy. Phenomenal performer in ring. The way she's getting better. Only 19 years old. Her wrestling skills keep getting elevated. And then Valerie Lorena. What can we say about Valerie Lorena? Her first wrestling debut. In attendance, her family were in attendance. Her mother, her father, her sisters. She natural. She wasn't clunky, no botches. She fixed the character well. She played the heel role with Bronco and Zion. They all look like natural heels. Even in her ring ability, the moves she did a lot of different moves in the ring. Classic, basic wrestling moves. Looked clean, crisp. And she got the mannerisms down as a heel or as a wrestler. Excellent. She looked like she put a lot of good work in her craft with her teacher, Norman Smiley, in the Performance Center and the other bookers that worked with her. She did a phenomenal job. She even did an MMA kick, to Andre Chase, and the double team aspect of it. It all looked clean, no clunky, no clot. The whole match, this match, to be honest with you, this should have been on TV. This whole card, I'm going to be honest with you, this should have been taped and put on either Level Up, edited, because the whole event tonight that I'm going to break down, this was really good. It left me saying, why can't we see this on Tuesday nights? This is what the type of matches or the type of in-ring ability we need to see on Tuesday night. Nothing wrong with Tuesday nights. I attend Tuesday nights with my wife and the Heal the Ring podcast members. We go and we attend to my NXT Live every Tuesday, and there's nothing wrong with the program on Tuesdays, but this NXT Live in Orlando was unbelievable. We're still oohing and ahhing of all the matches, and all of a sudden, we were like, wow, what a great event here. So we get that match back and forth here, and we get a win. We get the winner, Duke Hudson. They chase you. They get the victory. They defeat Bronco Nima, Zion Quinn, and Valerie Lorena. Valerie Lorena, keep an eye out. I don't think she's going to debut as Valerie Lorena. I think it's going to be Valerie Vice. I don't know where her name is going to be. They didn't do the proper ring introduction for her, but look for her down the road in singles. I personally, I will leave Zion Quinn to be the leader of this new facet. You had Legado Fantasma. You had Toxic Attraction. You have Joe Gacy and the Dyads. I would like Zion Quinn to keep Bronco Nima his partner, I totally forget his name, and Valerie Lorena, all under a facet of a group. Let them be under a group. Let them be heels under one group, and let them all have come out and similar to Diamond Mine with Ivy Niles, and the Creed brothers along with Roderick. You could have this facet growing up and let them start beating people up and level up until you make their debut where Zion Quinn brings them out and they go after folks. I personally, if I'm part of the NXT group, in the creative, I would definitely keep these guys all together. Also, Zion has been a competitor, been a little bit around the ropes, and Bronco Nima works extremely hard. I remember him. He used to check us in with security. Now he's wrestling. He is doing phenomenal. He gets the crowd going. He has the look. Him and his tag team partner, they got a look. They fit they check the boxes. If you see them in the airport, yes, you want to stop and you glance. He has the what they call the airport check. I keep an eye out for him and his partner. They did a phenomenal job. Then we had another match. And that's when Grayson Waller came out. He cut a promo, and Tank Ledger comes out. Tank Ledger, also you see him. He was part of the security, part of the package. Tank Ledger, up and coming wrestler in the Performance Center, and of course he wanted to challenge Grayson Waller. Grayson Waller was not going to wrestle him, and out come Cale Dixon. Cale Dixon, who came out, cut a promo, said how much he admires Grayson Waller, his favorite wrestler. Please, Grayson, I will be the honors and wrestle in your honor. Grayson Waller said, no problem. But Tank says, I'll wrestle you, Cale. But if I beat you, Cale, next time I'm back in Orlando here, then the live event, I'm wrestling you, Grayson Waller. So that was the stipulation. It was a stipulation. So Cale Dixon was wrestling for the honor of Grayson Waller. And the match, back and forth match, it was you could tell it was a development match between these two guys. You wasn't going to see the all out. You saw a lot of power from Tank Ledger. He's a big, strong built guy. He uses powerhouse, and he gets the victory on Cale Dixon and after the match, Tank leaves. Cale gets on the mic, starts kind of want to cry or asking for forgiveness for Waller for losing in his honor, and Waller comes back in. Of course, classic heel Waller, and he gets him his cutter, beats him and knocks him, and he leaves him in the ring, totally embarrassed, Grayson Waller style. And after that match is over. So Grayson Waller gets his frustration out on Cale Dixon, but he stood in ringside. He says, you kept me on ringside to watch this match and you lose. And of course, while he was on ringside, he zinged everybody. I mean, the back and forth exchange, it was funny. It was good. So then we have the next match here. It was tag team match between Malik Blade and Efes Adonfe. They were taking on Miles Bourne and Charlie Dempsey. I kind of like when I was torn because I like Malik Blade and Adonfe. I really do. They are really good tag teams. Watching them from the way they developed, made their debuts, and watching them grow through Level Up, and now main roster, that tag team match that they had for the titles that they came up short. But they have grown as a tag team. They work great as a tag team. The chemistry was phenomenal. And then interesting pair, Miles Bourne and Charlie Dempsey. I was like, okay, okay, because Miles Bourne looks like he checks the boxes too. On a really good amateur wrestling, he could wrestle. He could go. Of course, Miles Bourne is partially deaf, and of course Charlie Dempsey, the son of Willem Regal. They made a good tag team. The match was a good match. I was torn on which one I want, who I wanted to win. So I enjoyed the match itself. Back and forth, the match was clean. It was really, really back and forth. Charlie Dempsey does some phenomenal work in the ring. He what can I say? He has lineages. I love when him and Miles did a double European uppercut on an Ofe in the corner. The hot tag to Malik. Malik comes in like a house of fire. The high flying moves from Malik, and of course the natural tag team won here in Malik Blade and this Adolphe. They get the victory, clean victory, good match. It really got us going. It was a phenomenal match. I really enjoyed it. It just tore the house down there to close out the first half of the live event in NXT Orlando. Then back at the intermission, we had a fatal 4-way match. The winner gets a woman's title shot, the next live event in Orlando next month. You have the competitors. You have Roxanne Perez, Indy Hartwell, Nikita Lyons, and Zoe Stark. So this is Nikita Lyons' first time getting her hands on Zoe Stark after that betrayal. Now, the Fatal 4-Way match, typical WWE Fatal 4-Way match, the ladies come out, they just go havoc. But I love that Zoe and Nikita went at it. It immediately started, and you saw Indy and Roxy said, "That's not my problem. That's not my match. That's not my issue." So both ladies backed away. Remember, Indy and Roxy were friends. They and of course you saw the promo on NXT that they're you don't trust anyone in the business. Then of course when Zoe was going for a pin, Indy interrupt, and then all hell broke loose. All four ladies in the ring, back and forth. This was a good match. The ladies back and forth. Of course, Nikita and Zoe could not contain themselves. They went fighting outside the ring all the way back to the locker room, left Indy Hartwell one-on-one with Roxy Perez, where Roxy hits the pop rocks, and Roxy Perez gets the victory and earns the women's title match, and her choosing next time, and they come to Orlando NXT against the women's champion. Now, it'll be interesting to see Roxanne Perez getting her title shot, and wonder where that's going to lead. Then we have a North American Championship match. Yes, we have Pretty Deadly comes out, so it's going to be Kit Wilson taking on Wes Lee. Now, the crowd was pro Wes Lee. There was a few people were chanting Kit 2 belts because it was a title defense. And back and forth, Kit, Wes Lee always a gracious wrestler, always gracious with the crowd. He gets the crowd going. He has an it factor when it comes to getting the crowd rubbed up on his side. He has it. He's an it factor. The high flying moves. Of course, we saluted him. It was being a former Marine veteran, so Wes Lee, and he gets the victory on Kit Wilson. Also did a move there where he got some blood from Kit Wilson's mouth. Kit Wilson looking really, really impressive in singles competition, despite the fact falling here to Wes Lee. But the match was really good. There was some high flying aspects. You saw Elton Prince trying to get involved a couple of times in the match, and then to the referee injection. Referee caught him on one aspect and ejected him from the ringside area. And of course, that's where allowed Wes Lee to get the advantage and get the victory over Wilson, and we get a of the North American title. So Wes Lee defends his title. We'll leave next to the next match between the NXT Women's Tag Team in the building. Yes, indeed, we have Kaden Chance and Katana Chance and Kaden Carter. I always get those names back up. Defeating and taking on and defeating Kiana James and Elektra Lopez. Now, Kiana James has her new assistant, and she was out there in some really high heels, up and down. Got on the apron a couple times as a distraction. And, of course, Elektra Lopez teaming up with Katana James kind of works, but I kind of want to see Elektra Lopez running her own group. So I don't know what they're going to do with Elektra Lopez. Maybe it was just for this event. Story-wise line had nothing to do with the storyline, just that Kiana cut a promo on how she wants to take over the bar that belongs to Finn and Henley and take over that bar and buy it. So that's Stony promo from NXT that she cut. And also when Katana and Carter came out, Chance and Carter came out, we were all dancing and doing the whoop whoop. She comes to me and says, "Hey, you're not in a club. This is not a club. This is a wrestling ring." A typical heel fashion, back and forth. Well, of course, back and forth. But Katana and Kaden, they win. They are the natural tag team. They defended their tag team titles. They hit with their finishing move. You had Kaden from the top ropes with the 360 splash for the victory. The pin went on Kiana James. So after the match, they win. They riled up the crowd, and of course, we always love to see the NXT women's tag team. They are fun. They are a fun bunch of women. They're really good. They're also another group that naturally they're getting better and better. But I don't know where their ceiling is because of their height. But don't underestimate them. They're a really good tag team. They wrestle as a tag team, and they're fun. I enjoy watching them. Then we have a match, Cora Jade taking on Ivy Nile. So, of course, the crowd was all over Cora Jade. We had a bunch of hecklers that did not like Cora Jade. Of course, Cora Jade, what she did last time in Orlando in NXT, she offended or said something with one of the crowd members, and the crowd just did not forget about that. They had receipts for Cora Jade, and they were cashing those receipts on Cora Jade. They were booing her, and the match was just a boo fest. Ivy Niles put up a good fight. Cora Jade defeats Ivy Niles. Of course, typical heel fashion, hooking the tights. Then she gets the victory at the end of the match. Cora Jade with the Kindle stick. Ivy Niles takes it, was going to give her a whack, and Ivy Niles, although in defeat, got over. In the defeat, Ivy Niles always gets over with the crowd, always gracious, so she gets the victory. And then we leave to the main event. The main event with big, big, big men. You had the combination of Veer Mahan, Sangha, and teaming up with Von Wagner, all six-man tag action, taking on the Creed brothers and NXT World Champion Braun Breaker. Now this match, back and forth, heavy hitting clotheslines. My God, Sangha, dude, that dude is humongous. I was up close and I was like, whoa, this guy's a big dude. Veer Mahan, gracious, always there. Back and forth match there. We saw a preview of Braun and Von Wagner. They didn't wrestle much against each other. I guess they were trying to save it for Tuesday night. They didn't want us to see much of them chemistry-wise, how they went. But they did go a little go there. But, of course, Julius Creed, of course, get the NXT champion gets the pin. They get the victory. The Creed brothers, along with Von Breaker. And then after the match, Robert Stone get in the ring, said I had enough. And Ivy Niles was at ringside. Body slams Robert Stone, and of course everyone leaves. Of course they thank us on the microphone, Von Breaker, and of course the Creed brothers went out and greeted everyone, high fives, pictures, opportunities. If you ever have a chance to be in Orlando area and you can make it to NXT Tuesdays and there's an NXT live event, or even anywhere up and down the state of Florida, in Melbourne, Dade City, anywhere, I would advise you, go check out the NXT live. They are fun. You get to see the wrestlers. You get to have a conversation, quick conversation, pictures, opportunity, photo ops. They're very gracious. Those young kids, men and women from the NXT are excellent fans. Even when there's fan appreciation on Tuesday nights, I know they're limited with time, but they're also very nice, very gracious. I've never seen anyone who has a bad day or rude. Even the heels, they are very gracious. The NXT wrestlers are so nice. They're the WWE. More of the security is more of a pain in the neck, but other than that, everyone else is so nice. Security's cool. They're cool people, but they have to do their job. Everyone else. Everyone in NXT is so nice there. Check it out. Go to our live event, and also Santo Escobar was backstage at this event. He was backstage in the backstage area. He was there as well. And also, I forgot the big match of the night was. It was a 3 out of 2 falls. It was Trick Williams taking on the young man Christopher in a thumb wrestling match. And the winner gets an opportunity to get a big poster of Braun Breaker. And Christopher wins. He wins 2 out of 3 matches. He pins Trick Williams for the victory, and he gets the win. So Christopher is a young kid, little about 6 years old from the fan. They picked him out of the crowd, and Trick Williams came out and did a wonderful job thumb wrestling him and took off his shirt and played the role of the heel. Wonderful job, Trick Williams. He did a good job there. And the young kid making memories, and you got to commend that with that. This is why I'm a huge fan of NXT, of the things that they do, not just for the community, but the kids. And the way they grace themselves, things that we don't see behind the cameras. When the cameras are off, the NXT universe does phenomenal. From everyone, from the wrestlers to the fans, phenomenal job. That's why I'm a huge fan, and I love going every Tuesday nights to the NXT world. But that was the event there for NXT Orlando. Had a great time there. I want to thank again my friend Terrence for allowing to send tickets for myself and my wife. I want to shout you out and thank you there. And I was honored to represent the wrestling club and go at Waller on your behalf. So salute there. So tonight, Monday Night Raw, we'll give you a quick preview of the matches that we know so far. You have Seth Rollins taking on Finn Balor, Matt Riddle, and Elias taking on Alpha Academy. I believe, my opinion, Elias turns heel and hits Matt Riddle with a guitar. That's just my opinion. You're gonna have a Miss TV segment with Johnny Gargano. Of course, with Dexter Lumis. Hopefully, we can finally get Dexter on the roster finally. And of course, they're going to set up some more matches for War Games. The Women's War Games match. Which are going to be the members? Who's not going to be in it? Who's going to be in it? I hope they set that up. What is next for Omos after being beaten by Strowman? Who's he going to go after? Omos. And of course, I want to see, of course, the club with Mia Yim. Maybe Mia Yim gets her hands on Rhea Ripley tonight, or we'll see. Or what does JBL and Baron Corbin have next? I'm believing, me personally, I'm thinking if I'm booking, I will have Baron Corbin with Cameron Grimes. Bring them up and make them a tag team. Cameron Grimes fits that money with JBL. It will work. That will be money. That will be gold. But we shall see there. So with that said, any news and notes other than Kevin Owens got injured on a house show, and that same house show where a fan threw a beverage at Scarlett Bordeaux, and fan was arrested. Look, I've sat in front row seats. Wrestlers, it's part of the gimmick. Even if they insult you, they can't put their hands on you. Let them insult you. That's fun. Just laugh. They're not, dude. It's part of people. It's just part of the gimmick. If they, you know what? They call you big nose. They call you chubby. They call you, cross-sided. It's part of the gimmick. That's their gimmick. That's it. If you get offended, if you have such thin skin, maybe you shouldn't sit in the front row. Maybe you want to get a skybox or something. You know what? Be thankful they incorporated you part of the program. They give you a singer. You're part of it. Now hey, guess what? You're part of the program. So a fan base, now you're going to get lawyers and courts and go back and forth and spend all this because you threw a drink at a performer. Come on, all she's doing is performing. She's just doing out there to entertain us, the masses. Any man or female, male or female, anyone, even when they bring the young children, they're performers. They're performing. Respect the performers, even if you don't like it, even if they botch, just they're out there. Just give that respect. So kudos down, thumbs down on that fan for throwing a drink there. Also, congratulations to Diana Peraza and her husband. They got married over the weekend. Her fiance, they got married over the weekend. They're over a week ago. They're now Mrs. As well. And Chelsea Green has finished her obligations with Impact, and look for her personally to be in the WWE. She tweeted out something about SmackDown 2 years ago. She made her debut. Personally, I would like to see them both come, the Virtuosa and Chelsea Green. They need more women's tag team. You bring them. Personally, they should have bought them as a total package, both of them. Also, last NWA had Hard Times 3. That went over the weekend. I did not watch it, so I can't give you any results. I don't know. I just know that Matt Cardona did not win the NWA heavyweight title. It was Tetris, so that I do know for a fact. So could it be Chelsea Green and Matt Cardona returning to the WWE as a tandem? Husband and wife. We saw Johnny Gargano and Candice LeRae, so it could be happening. But it'll be interesting there because remember, Royal Rumble is a couple of weeks away, a month and a half away from the WWE. So they're gonna need competitors. Also, another news and notes before I end the program was. Also involving the NWA, Nick Aldis gave his notice, no longer being part of the NWA, but it's getting messy with him and the president. It's getting messy. You saw the president go on and busting open and totally defending himself, but went after Nick Aldis. Didn't like the fact that he's doing he figures he's doing in business for himself. On his way out, calling the product booking terribly, not good. Hey, look, if you're Nick Aldis, you want out, just go out, just be quiet. He got suspended, so now he's able to go. Personally, I think he's going to be coming to the WWE with Mickey James. I believe that Nick Aldis should be head of general manager of NXT Europe. He is from England, so from the UK, and I wouldn't be surprised if he's NXT Europe general manager, similar to what Shawn Michaels is doing, or if he comes as a competitor. He is almost in his 40s, and he's in his mid-40s. I know LA Knight is there as 40 as well, early 40s. I know there's no age shaming. If Nick Aldis could go, he could go. But how much more of a run really going to see? I think that's why he fits the par as NXT Europe president or general manager, whatever he wants to be out there. That's just my opinion. But we shall see there. So any other news and notes, we'll keep it here. Heal the Ring. You can follow us anywhere on the audio platform, here on the YouTube, in Twitch, Twitter, or the Facebook page. Heal the Ring Facebook page. We always put news and notes. And I am BX Sports Jedi. We'll have the guys back on. We'll have the normal guys that normally watch along with us. So we'll be back. So from me to you, I know I see them that my producer spelled my watch along wrong, but I'll talk to him. You see, we botch here too. So from me to you guys, we'll see you next time here on the Heel of the Ring podcast, and we'll say peace.
Awesome! You people bought a ticket to see me, so shut up!
Sometimes I get so mad, there's no control.
Ladies and gentlemen, just in case you live under a rock,
I might grab a bat, I don't know, my rap, my blood boils over like, oh God, here goes. I lost all feeling from my head to my toes. You said some shit that I can't let go, so just stay tuned for the rest of the show.
So have you ever felt betrayed? Switches how you see things, realize something needs change. Cause I know you got me fucked up, let me show you what's up. Cause enough is enough. I'll take a face full of pavement just to make a statement. I know there's no turning back. Oh God, adrenaline wasted, so mad I can taste it. I know there's no turning back. I'll do what it takes, I ain't making mistakes like that. I'll bleed on your face just to make you go take it back. I'll lose my shit, I go crazy when I'm mad. And now you gon' wish you had such a fucked up real bad.
Shut up!
Be the villain! And I have no problem at all, because I couldn't care less if you like me or not. I'm here for success, and there's no one more successful than Grayson Waugh.